Sports parents, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but how far your kid gets in sports is not going to be about his skill. It's going to be about his physical gifts or ability, or her physical gifts or abilities. The modern sports parent is completely obsessed with skill building. You'll see them putting their little prodigy 7-year-old basketball players dribbling between their legs around their back, doing step backs, moves that they don't even understand. They're just being taught. You'll see little soccer players, little 8-year-old soccer players juggling the ball, catching the ball on their neck off a rainbow, and that's all great. But when you're talking about playing their respective sports at the highest level, you have to be physically qualified for the level that you're trying to ascend to. Which means little Johnny can do all the dribbling between his legs, but if he's 5'11", I can go find a 6'8" guy that can do the same thing. Eeny, meeny, miny, 6'8". If you've got a football player and he's not big enough, strong enough, and fast enough, he's not going to be able to ascend to the highest level. Now, he'll be a great junior player and probably a solid high school player, but when you're talking about the professional level, like some of these parents are trying to create with these little kids, and while they're spending the amounts of money that they are building all this skill, unless your kid is physically qualified, meaning big enough, strong enough, fast enough, a good enough athlete, they can have all the skill they want, but it's not going to get them to where they need to go. Now, is skill important? Absolutely. You absolutely have to be skilled. But what I'm saying is skill without the physical gifts, it's not going to get them there. So the purpose of this video is to make sure that we are realistic. We have to understand that skill is great, but you need to spend time developing your kids athletically as well. Meaning, when they get to a certain age, you need to start developing their coordination. You need to work on sprinting mechanics. You need to work on plyometrics. You need to work on strength development, where they can control their body, accelerate and decelerate, and all of these physical attributes that will help them perform on the field or court. The window for developing athletic skill sets closes a lot earlier than it does with skills like fundamentals and techniques. You know, there's some guys in the NBA that get to the NBA that are first-round draft picks that don't shoot the ball well, but they're 6'9" and run like gazelles. They learn their jump shot as they go it throughout their career. Do you see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind and follow if you love sports. Most people have no idea how athletically gifted you have to be to become a professional athlete. I posted a video just yesterday breaking down that although skill is important in athletics, the biggest and most accurate indicator if an athlete is going to be able to ascend to the professional level is their gifts athletically. Bigger, stronger, faster, more powerful, more athletically and genetically gifted athletes win more often. Is skill important? It absolutely is. And you have to be skilled to ascend to the professional level. But you also have to be athletically qualified to be able to get to that level. There's lots of athletes that are recruited and even reach the professional level off of their athletic potential, meaning how big, strong, fast, powerful, and athletic they are. Now, the comment section was very revealing. A lot of people got it. And the people that understood what I was saying were former pro athletes, former athletes who played at a professional level, coaches, scouts, recruiters. And also there were a lot of awesome parents in there that were receptive and open to somebody that, you know, has 20 years experience as a sports performance coach, training athletes from youth ball to the pros, and also, as myself, played sports at a professional level. Now, the people that didn't get it, boy, there were some comments in there that just made you scratch your head. And what most of those people did was they tried to break down my specific examples that I gave, and they tried to come up with anomalies or people that did not fit that specific mold. For instance, I gave an example. If you're a 5'11" point guard and you're dribbling between your legs and you can shoot threes, that's great. But there's 6'8" guys that can do that. The average height in the NBA is 6'8". So they'd bring up guys like Allen Iverson, NBA Hall of Famer. They bring up guys like Spud Webb that was 5'7". He was an NBA dunk champion. Guys, they're freak athletes. They're outside of the norm. Yes, they made it. You can find examples and exceptions to any statement that you make in whether it be in sports or in life. But most likely, little Johnny is not Allen Iverson. Most likely, they're not Spud Webb, had one of the highest verticals in NBA history. A lot of soccer fans jumped in the comments and said, Lionel Messi's 5'6". Please don't use the GOAT in any examples for anything, because you lost me right there. As soon as you use the GOAT, that's no comparison. And regardless that he's 5'6", he is literally one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. His agility, his speed, his first step, his coordination. Little Billy, your little Billy or whoever, is not Lionel Messi. Now, could he grow up to be? Sure, but what are the odds of that happening? Baseball fans were in the comments talking about baseball's a skill sport. Of course, baseball's a skill sport. All sports have skill. But ask any MLB scout, ask any coach that's recruiting from the Power Five. They're looking for the biggest, strongest, fastest, most powerful athletes. They want to know trust me, I'm a sports performance coach. They want to know what your 60 time is. They want to know what your exit velos are. They want to know these measurables. Football fans were bringing up all different types of names. All of you guys that tried to find examples that were outside of the norm, you're completely missing the point of the video. The point of the video is you have to be realistic when you're having these youth athletes grow up. To ascend to the professional level, you have to be a freak athlete, and there are certain characteristics physically that you must have in order to play at that level, period. There are Rocky underdog stories. There are Disney movies, guys that come from nowhere and make it. Of course there are. But the fact is, most guys that make it are freaks. They're genetic freaks. Yes, they work hard. Yes, they have skill. But the thing that ultimately dictated how far they got was because they were gifted by God or their genetic line or whoever you believe in. Now, does that mean if you're not athletically gifted, does that mean just give up? Absolutely not. Work your tail off. I want you to work as hard as you can and get as far as you can. And more importantly, I want you to use sports for what they're really for at the youth level or at the high school level, to make you a successful or help you to be a successful adult. Hope that helps. Follow if you love sports. Most people have no idea how athletically gifted you have to be to become a professional athlete.
If you're a parent and your kid is in sports, you need to go back and make sure you watch that whole video from Nate, because what he is saying is obviously 100% true. If you think your kid has any chance of being a professional athlete or even competing at a high level, and you didn't compete at a high level, or you weren't a professional athlete, good luck to you. Good luck, because the reality is, and I have a quick anecdote about it, your kid ain't going pro. So if you're yelling on the sidelines, you're making your kid take batting practice at 8 at night. If you weren't a genetic freak pro athlete and your wife wasn't, it's going to be a long road for your kid. The Clemson football team came into our office, and they were doing some career exploration stuff, and I had an opportunity to speak with these guys to a man, to like every single person on that team. When I asked them about their family or what they, where they lived or where they grew up or what their parents did, almost every single person was like, my dad played in the league. My dad played pro ball. My mom was a D1 track athlete. My mom played college soccer at insert high level D1 soccer school. My mom played basketball. My brother's in the league. Both of my brothers are in the league. Every single one of these guys could point to somebody in their genetic line that played sports at a super high level. So the takeaway is, if you are a parent of a kid, and you've got designs on him or her, making a living playing sports at a super high level, and you didn't do it, or your dad didn't do it, good luck to you.
Most guys that make it are freaks. They're genetic freaks. Yes, they.
But when I say it, I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about. This man is a former professional athlete and a athletic trainer, and obviously very well equipped and knowledgeable about athletic training and sports and what it takes to, be a professional. He's making wonderful points, and I suggest that everybody go watch his videos. But this is exactly why I say If you're going to put your children in sports, it is so important that you guys are honest and realistic with your children. Honest and realistic on what the grind truly is. Cannot tell you how many times people come on my page and they tell me to just shut the F up. I don't know what I'm talking about. My husband's not a real baseball player because he's in the minor leagues and split contract guy. That's not real professional sports. And then I tell them that over 50% of the baseball league is made up of split contract guys like my husband who have spent their careers going up and down from the big leagues to AAA, from the big leagues to AAA. More than 50% of the league is made up of that. The issue has become that we have not allowed the reality to be what's talked about, and instead we have all these people who are exceptions to the rule, exceptional, amazing people, be the people that we think is the standard, when they are the exception, not the rule. The reality is that most professional athletes, no matter what sport, baseball, hockey, football, basketball, whatever it may be, spend majority of their time as a professional athlete on the bubble, as journeymen, as, roster fillers, holding on to a hope and a dream. And that's the reality. So as parents, if you're going to support your children and push them to work really hard to possibly get a scholarship one day and then possibly become pro one day, I'm all for it. Do that. But you also have to make sure that you're teaching them about the reality of what that looks like. And the reality for most is it's going to be a grind. It will not be easy. And the chances of you ever getting to that top spot is slim to none. Because let me tell you, scouts have no problem going into your home and talking to your parents and talking to your coaches and letting everybody think that you're going to be the next Derek Jeter. Because that's their job. The last thing you want as a parent is to send your child on their merry way in life with a false sense of reality and then get their heart broken by a sport that they have loved forever and always. So please be honest and realistic with your children.